Our top story tonight is from Syria as Syrian rebels gain ground. Russia is standing firm and putting the West and its allies on notice, stating that it will not hesitate in unleashing its nuclear might to safeguard its strategic interests in Ukraine and Syria. And amid all this, Iran is waiting and watching, perhaps looking poised to act. The stakes in West Asia continue to remain high, and a lot of potential moves could still reshape the power balance in Syria. Let's start off with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov issuing a direct warning to the West. In an interview, Lavrov said Russia is quote-unquote ready to use any means to defend itself. Listen in.
الله أكبر. إيش الوضع يا أبو هريرة؟ وين نحن بوسط حماة. الله أكبر والعزة لله.
The United States and the allies of the United States who also provide this long-range weapons to the Kyiv regime, they must understand that we would be ready to use any means not to allow them to succeed in what they call strategic defeat of Russia.
As you just heard, Lavrov's words carry an unmistakable undertone. Nuclear force is not off the table. You see, Lavrov's statements come just weeks after Russia's Oreshnik hypersonic missile was fired on Ukraine's Dnipro. And this missile attack was not just a show of strength. It was a message that the Kremlin's red lines are fixed, and anyone doubting their resolve does so at their peril. In fact, Lavrov made this clear.
Westerners have been pronouncing lately that, well, don't believe that Russia has red lines. They announced their red lines. These red lines are being moved again and again and again. This is a very serious mistake.
Теракт. Все те, кто стрелял, убивал людей, найдены и задержаны.
Russia's nuclear rhetoric perhaps underscores a broader strategy, deterring the West and its allies from deeper involvement. But like we told you, this is not just about Ukraine. The implications rippling across West Asia, where Russia's interests in Syria reportedly hang in the balance. Syrian rebels, bolstered by their recent successes, are surging southward, capturing key cities in rapid succession. In fact, like we told you yesterday, the rebels captured Hama, the country's fourth largest city, and now they are moving towards another key Syrian city of Homs. Damascus, Assad's stronghold, lies just over 200 kilometers away, and it's not just the Syrian capital under threat. Russia's vital naval base in Tartus, vital to its Mediterranean strategy, is also perilously close to rebel-controlled territories, just 100 kilometers away. Now, the distance of 100 kilometers and 200 kilometers may seem quite a lot, but the pace at which the rebels are capturing territory suggests otherwise. Let's just put that into context for you. The Syrian rebels launched their surprise offensive from Idlib on November 27, covering a distance of over 66 kilometers. They captured Aleppo within 3 days on November 30th. In fact, they further marched for the city of Hama, which is around 136 kilometers from Aleppo, and seized it in the next 5 days. And now the rebels have pushed on towards Homs, which lies just 40 kilometers south of Hama, and have vowed to advance towards Damascus, Assad's seat of power. which is around 163 kilometers from Homs. In a matter of 10 days, 2 major cities have already fallen to the rebels, putting Assad's control under major threat. So why is Syria so important for Russia? You see, for Moscow, losing Assad would be a geopolitical disaster. Syria is not merely an ally, it's a linchpin of Russian influence in West Asia and North Africa. As per experts, the air base, also the Tartus naval base in Syria, providing Russia with major strategic leverage, offering access to the Mediterranean and serving as launch pads for operations across Africa. Experts further stated that Russia's entire strategy in regions like the Sahel and Libya hinges on maintaining its foothold in Syria. And without it, Russia risks appearing weak, not just to Western adversaries, but also to its own allies in Africa and beyond, something that experts said they simply cannot afford. Lavrov reportedly admitted that stabilizing the situation in Syria is not easy. It's a complex game involving many actors. The next big question in Syria is, when will Tehran intervene? You see, just like Russia, Syria is vital for Iran as well. As per reports, through Syria, Iran maintains a direct land corridor to its proxies in Iraq, Lebanon, and beyond. This corridor, in fact, is reportedly vital for supplying Hezbollah and other allied groups, ensuring Tehran's dominance in the region. For Iran, losing Syria is reportedly unthinkable. As per reports, Iran has invested heavily in its Syrian operations, building dozens of military bases and facilities. These don't just serve as hubs for manufacturing and transporting weapons, but also as command centers for coordinating with Hezbollah. Recent Israeli strikes targeting Iran's supply routes and infrastructure in Lebanon have reportedly only heightened Syria's importance for Tehran. Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi on Tuesday reportedly said there is a possibility of deploying troops to Syria. But for now, Tehran relies on its formidable network of proxies. Members of Hezbollah and Shiite militias from Iraq are already embedded in the conflict, reportedly awaiting orders to act decisively. If Syria's stability continues to unravel, Tehran may have no choice but to escalate its involvement. While Russia and Iran share a mutual interest in preserving Assad's regime, their reasons are different. For Moscow, Syria is a strategic outpost, and for Tehran, it is key to its regional dominance. So losing Syria would have catastrophic consequences, not just for Assad, but for Russia and Iran as well. So what's next? The rebels' advance represents an existential threat to both countries' plans, prompting them to make critical decisions in the coming days, like how far will Moscow and Tehran go to preserve their interests in Syria? And will Russia's threats of nuclear force extend beyond Ukraine and into the heart of West Asia? To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.